What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Business and Biceps. And you better wake your ass up, because on today's show, we're so serious about this new format. We have all our topics lined up. I'm a little nervous. We're too organized.
No.
John,
No.
I'm a little nervous about that. It's weird. It's weird for me to be this organized. I usually go straight from the dome, and it's worked to this point. But I don't know, Mo.
I'm pushing organization.
Yeah, Mo's pushing organization.
I was happy last week. It felt like we just captured something.
It moved better.
And beyond that, okay, let's look at the numbers. The downloads are way up.
They are.
From last week. So people got into the show. They liked how it moved. And to everybody listening, we're only going to get better. We're only going to get more structured. This show is going to bring you more content with different topics. And I'm excited for today, brother.
I'm excited.
Even as you're saying that, but I guess that's the world. Like the podcasting is you bring information to a platform that people probably aren't traditionally trained in.
Yeah.
But I think just how people receive information, they've been receiving information their whole life in an organized manner. People have been producing shows, no matter if they've been AM radio, FM radio, TV, or something.
Yep.
They've been produced in some fashion. And so I think, like, just out of familiarity or just interest, people are delivered stuff a certain way. So I think, like, to that thing that building and staying in that space will work to our benefit.
It's actually easier for us to deliver the content in a more effective way.
Yeah, I mean, people have no clue what carrying a singular topic for an hour and a half feels like. Even though we get into it and we all love it and are passionate about it, man, that's 90 minutes of carrying a topic. So what I love is with these segments, we're hitting like 7-8 topics, right?
Yeah.
And we're giving the listener variety. So there's always going to be something that you like in this show.
Absolutely. John, I know what you like. Free bacon for a year.
I fucking love free bacon for a year.
How can you get free bacon for a year, John?
Cory, you got to go to butcherbox.com, number one.
Okay, I'm there, John.
Okay, once you're there, you will see that they have 100%.
Hey, Maurice is going there right now.
Maurice is on Robinhood. He's on ButcherBox. It's in his fucking calendar. But when Maurice goes to butcherbox.com, he will see that they have 100% grass-fed and finished beef. They have free-range organic chicken, which means they can fucking run around like Usain Bolt, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not as fast. Maybe not as fast, but they can run, Cory.
Listen, I guarantee.
Cory, can they lunge? Can they lunge?
The chickens are lunging. One time when I was out in the country, I saw this trailer, right? This is totally off topic, but back to free range. That had about 50 chickens.
Running?
No shit. No, they weren't running.
Oh.
Chained to barrels.
Oh, that's not free range.
So that is not free range.
That is fucking not free range.
I should have took a picture. I drove by like, where the? I'm like, this is a little too close to where I'm from. But they got 50 chickens up in this mug, chained to barrels. Now that is not free range. I guarantee these guys.
That's like some junkyard Rottweiler shit.
That's what I'm saying.
You know
so that is the opposit of what we're talking about. Butcher Box.
Back.
I didn't even know you could chain a chicken, man.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, their necks are like. You know
it was some weird ass shit.
Cory,
but at Butcher Box, they do not chain the chicken to the barrel. They're free range.
That's their slogan. Don't chain the chicken.
They also have heritage
either.
breed pork, Cory.
Yes.
Do you know what that is?
No.
That's old world pork, Cory. Before they bred out all the fat and flavor to make it the other white meat. It's OG pork. It's not the shit you buy at the local grocery store. This is the good stuff that when you used to go to your fucking butcher, you could get. And that's why people should go to butcherbox.com.
And once you order, they add free bacon in every order. I love it.
I love you. I love you.
John, I love you too.
Okay.
What's the freaking code, John? Biceps. Discount code Biceps.
Fucking just call it Fosco.
All right. So, John,
Cory.
2 shows ago,
yes,
we started in your world.
Oh, man.
Now, what I'm going to do.
It's a dangerous place. Dude, that's like a war zone right there.
I think that I'm going to move over towards Maurice a little bit more because usually you spit on me a lot during this section.
That's true. If it wasn't true, I would tell you. But listen, if
my Jordans are over here a little bit,
I got range.
That's why.
I got range. You know.
So John,
I'm like Steph Curry.
What is in your world?
Oh, we're going with me first.
We're coming out the gate.
Okay, fine. Let's do this. All right. So this was tipped off last night, okay? I'm up a little bit later, and I see this show that has been interesting. It interested me. It's brand new. It's on HBO, and I've never gotten to watch it. So I watched like the first 20 minutes of it, and I got the gist of it. It's called Secession. Okay, and what it's about is an individual from Scotland who came over like 50 years ago, and he built a monster conglomerate, monster media business, just huge business, like a Comcast style business, something that would like swallow up NBC Universal, right? So he builds this business. Dude's getting old. All his kids are counting his money. All his kids are waiting for him to get sick. All his kids are getting their positions ready. They're already fighting. And then dude gets sick, and that's where it kind of cut off for me. So I didn't get to see more of it, but it really made me think about a couple things. Right? We all talk about working and providing for our family, and when I see something like that, I cross-reference it with my personal experience in life. I've had 2 experiences in life where family members have died that had assets. Both of those experiences resulted in losing family members never talking for the rest of their lives, and basically people being less motivated to work in certain situations. So I asked myself, if guys like us who work our fucking ass off all the time say, oh, I want to take care of my family. I want to take care of my family. The first thing I say is, man, if I was on the list to receive from somebody, would I be me? If I was young, waiting to get that fucking spot, that big job, all that money, would I be me? The answer is fuck no. I would never fucking be me. I would never fucking be motivated. Comfort is the enemy of success. So I made a decision. I was like, I think that's something we tell ourselves because it feels good. But if we actually care about the development of our kin, right? I don't have kids, but if I do, I made a decision. Unless it's my mother or unless it's someone who has gone through life, I will not, and I'm dead serious, I will not give my money to anybody. My money will go to causes or people who are not connected to my family, because young people need to experience the experiences that mold men and that mold women. And am I really doing them any good by allowing them to bank on a trust or a nest egg? That feels good. It sounds good, but is it good? I believe it's not good. I believe we're lying to ourselves, and I believe we're almost stroking our own ego, right? We're almost being like, you know what, I set this up for my family. Like, it's noble. I get it. It's noble to change things. But I believe we're taking something from those children and that youth. We're taking away what made us successes. I don't believe either all 3 of us would be here if we were sitting on a trust fund. I actually guarantee it wouldn't fucking happen.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? It skews everything. So I ain't gonna fucking rant hard on this, but I know you guys have kids. I don't. I'm saying for me. I'm not judging anybody. For me, no kid I ever have, if I do have a kid, will receive a fucking penny. What they will receive is everything I have up top. All my knowledge, all my wisdom, hopefully, right? But money creates problems, and it separates people. It always will, and it always has. And it just made me think, and it brought me to a realization that, unless I go young and unless I can give it to someone who's had a tough life, you know what I'm saying? It ain't going to someone younger. The younger people, they get the knowledge. They don't get the money. They got to go out and earn it themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to cut him off through the thing. It was a lot that popped up in my head. I think the first thing initially was just I think I can say two things. I understand what I'm trying to do for my daughter, and that is to put her in a situation where certain hurdles or barriers of having resources. So I look at money as having a resource to either invest in business or as a tool to do what you want to do or to continue on what I'm doing and to have the resources to do it. And I'm just giving a small example. So I forced my daughter to work her summer camp. And the reason I forced her to work her summer camp because I realized that our life is drastically different from the summer camp for the kids that were running labs, right? A lot of these kids have nothing, right? Is to give her an experience in environments that we aren't normally in, and also to kids who don't have, just to have perspective. And there's also another factor in there, and it comes from race. And I say your experience is not like most black kids' experience, but as you grow up in this world, you'll have a lot of experiences that are black experiences that may not necessarily mimic your life, if that makes sense. Make any sense?
Yeah.
All right, so sometimes I explain shit in my head, but I don't think it comes out right.
Well,
So
because you can't recreate things that you experience because her life's so different.
it's so different,
that's
right?
What I'm
So
seeing too.
I totally get at one. I don't believe that I'll be who I'll be if I had a trust fund, right? Because I know people who've had money given to them or opportunity to given to them, and just the struggles of life didn't allow them to get a level of grit or grind or
Exactly.
being able to handle adversity. Just their understanding of things was totally different. And I think for the parent, and I can't speak to any of your cousin situations, but for me having it so hard in so many situations, and me also understanding, and this is having a little girl, me also understanding resources that I would want her to have that I wouldn't want to have her look to any other man for. I plan on setting her up with. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want my daughter chasing around some mysterious man for whatever reason to provide her financial needs, either be it for a house or for whatever it is.
Can I ask you a question real
But-
quick on that? Okay, because you're a father and I'm not. So what I'm hearing is providing opportunity, setting your daughter up with opportunities you didn't have. But if we flip it to where she's 40 or 50 and Mo's time has come, I'm kind of going there.
Okay.
What's your outlook there? Because at that point, you've provided her with those things that have given her the opportunity to set up a life of her own, to go out and do on her own.
So hopefully if I'm 40 or 50 and
No, I'm saying if she's 40 or 50 and it's time for Mo to go.
oh, that's a reality. You know, what are you asking in particular?
What
on
I'm
that side of
asking
that?
is if Mo's got the loot, do you think it's beneficial after already providing all these resources that have made her
to give it to her?
Yes.
Fuck no. No.
There we go.
And just being clear, this money that I earned is mine. Is to create an opportunity, to pathway, but you have to work for what you work for. So even though I tell her now, you have to go out here and do the work, right? I can be of some resource to you. I can introduce you into relationships. You know, I don't think it's anything wrong with introducing your children to relationships that you have. I don't think it's anything wrong with giving your kids finances to move and to be motivated to invest in different businesses, ideas that they may have. I think that's even part of the education system. Like me, you know, dumping as much money as I do into her schooling right now to make sure that she has the education or the wherewithal or the etiquette or whatever it takes to function in certain environments. I'm hopeful that these experiences do this for her, you know, and that's a direct knock towards the public education system and kind of where it's at, you know, just to kind of control her education. But I totally get it. One, I don't believe in giving her shit, you know. I really don't. But there's a fine line behind creating or trying to manufacture these experiences, and they're really manufactured and not consistent because she doesn't live in that environment. You know, it's just certain shit that she's just not going to get because she's not in that environment. And so you're always trying to create these things with the hopes that, you know, she has some sort of grit, grind, and balance and work ethic. But I think just on certain levels, I think your kids are just going to be softer if you've raised it up and you've grinded. And I can definitely, how you say, I can definitely see how it comes off, and you may say it seems from an egotistical standpoint. But I think what happens is when you have kids, you don't want these kids to have to face the same challenges. They have their like. So I give you an example, right? So, and hopefully this helps. So I got a buddy, and he has somebody he's taking care of, right? And he's taking like this. He has a little brother, and his little brother is his little brother is in high school. His little brother has an issue, right? So throughout his issues, he gets real mad at him. He said, "Yo, this is his issues. I wish he would quit fucking up. I wish he would quit doing A, B, and C, right?" And I says, "Well, you can't really get mad at him because you had issues, and just because those issues don't mimic yours doesn't make his issues less significant. He's just dealing with a different set of issues." And so I'm hopeful that I can put my daughter into a situation where she have a different set of issues. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want her to have the poor man's issues, because I just understand that I see little girls who run behind guys strictly for money.
Right.
Giving up ass, having babies with dudes, and all this other shit just because these guys don't have money. And so maybe there's a different motivation for me. Maybe me making sure my daughter has these basic needs, or have the opportunity to pursue these basic needs, or have an education. Maybe those things play a factor into, and even in itself, that doesn't guarantee a successful man that she's attracting in her life. But I'm just trying to minimize risk, or function with the level of wisdom to where, hey, you're not. I didn't give you life, but I've given you the opportunity to make yourself into something before you have to go out and be in front of or go get a man for something.
Sure.
I think that's what we ask you the most thing for our kids, for how much stuff can we put together yourself, or for my little girl. Let me just speak to my little girl in particular, because I can't speak to Cory kids or anybody's kids in the world. How much opportunity or stuff can I provide for my child so she's not looking for this thing outside of anything else? I don't want to enable her, but I do want my efforts to not be in vain.
But where's the line where you feel like she needs to go out and get it herself, and not look to another man to get it?
But I think it's now. I think the process. I think the process starts now in teaching your kids to go get their own, right? But I think you making it vocal, yo, this is my shit. This is the shit that we're building. This is the shit that we're doing. These are the things that I'm doing for opportunity. But I'm just not a handout person, so I can never see myself giving anybody a handout. I give an opportunity, but I couldn't see just my daughter being a consistent fuck up and me saying, okay, let me dump this on you. But I understand what you mean. I know a lot of guys. I don't know a lot of guys. I know a few guys. I'll say that. Outside of guys that I personally know and other people who have given kids money, the kids fuck it up. These kids get hundreds of thousands of millions and they fuck it up. Also, I've seen families from a distance who either get life insurance policies or assets that are basically given down from the family, and it disrupts them. You know what I'm saying? But I think that, I think that maybe a 70s, 80s, 90s mentality where let me just dump a bunch of money on my kid, or a bunch of it's like hitting a lotto. You know what I'm saying? For a lot of these people, it's they're not prepared for it. And if you take that step deeper and look into the lives of those people, maybe those people didn't have shit going on, and they become I hope to just inherit a bunch of shit just to buy.
Well, and they bank on it. That's what
Yes.
I think my whole point with this conversation is.
Maybe I lost your conversation.
Yeah,
so I'm
yeah.
sorry.
When you know it's coming,
You don't work as hard.
and the inheritance is there, you're sitting there and nothing really matters, right? Because once somebody drops or when that fucking age comes, the bell rings. And it's your time, and you didn't do shit.
I give you this, and I know you didn't get a chance to say anything.
I know where you have blocks, but I'll weigh in on it when you're done. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
no. So I was running on the treadmill. This had to be 3 weeks ago, and I was watching Bill Gates talk to Mark Zuckerberg, right? And whatever they was talking about on the couch, I was saying to myself, I said, man, if you was Bill Gates' kid, literally, what the fuck would you do? You know what I'm saying? What motivation do you have?
Yeah.
So if I so most people think
He couldn't try not to give you money. He got so much money.
But it wasn't even that. But I was talking about so if I'm Bill Gates' kid and I'm thinking this, what excites me? So everybody has a dream to want to do something, to accomplish something.
Right.
But once you've your dad has literally accomplished everything without trying to accomplish everything, and so his way of
tough.
living is so.
Yeah.
To the extreme that you don't have any motive.
Right.
Your motivation couldn't be a Rolls Royce, or your motivation couldn't be butlers, or your motivation couldn't be
It's
a
already
$1
so
million
extreme.
house. Your motivation couldn't be a private jet. like your life is fixed like this. And I was like, man, I got to be like, and even though that isn't a poor man's story for a kid, that would have to be like, okay, what am I like? What am I shooting for? What am I dreaming
It'd
for?
be hard to have an identity.
But that's where I think what I'm talking about, passing down the most important thing, which is wisdom and knowledge, because of it.
I agree.
Bill has to know that and say, listen, you're probably not going to be me in a financial sense, in a business sense, and that's okay. You just be you, and you take pride. I mean, if I'm Bill, that's my focus for the first fucking 18 years of that kid's life, is saying, you don't have to be me. It's okay. You can go work at a fucking pet shop. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're you.
I think at that point you just become a giver. I think you just find fucking causes and a Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and just say, hey, I'm about to just go bless other people. Brother, I don't think you can do anything else. That's just my 2 cents. I'll let you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna weigh in on it. So I have a lot of the same views. I understand what Johnny's saying. I think that I do a lot of this. I say the resources and leading by example I didn't have, right, to the level that we all display. I think that's the thing that I'm trying to showcase the most. I tell all my kids this ain't their money. This is me and mom's money. And when you guys are growing up, we're going to be traveling the world. We're going to be doing this stuff because dad and mom work so hard to do this. I do agree with Reese that if things come up, I'm just not going to be fucking off a bunch of money into people, into ideas if they ain't make sense. But the resource or teaching them, to Johnny's point, the know-how of, hey, if you want to source some, like we've done these things before. We tried to source Rubik's Cubes from India and create a brand, and like those things, like my parents didn't know how to do that stuff.
Of course.
So I think that my thing is, I always talk about generations. I think it's more about teaching how they can operate, having the resources. If we got something that's got some legs, that dad, oh yeah, by the way, yeah, you know, but not to just rely like that. I'm gonna do it, and
I'm the piggy bank.
I'm not the piggy bank.
Right.
Because
Right.
I didn't like
Right.
my whole thing was to try to showcase how it can be done. And the conversations I've been having with Alex that I talked about last week was more about not having limitations, having your brain wide open, things that you can accomplish. And at the end of the day, there's no way. That's why I always tell my mom, like, I wouldn't change it for the world. There's no way I would be here if it wasn't all for all those struggles. There's no way either of us would be here, right?
Nobody.
There's just no. So it's like, you know, you can do a disservice, and you're going to toe that line, and it's always going to be a problem for
Yes.
a little bit. There's no question, because a parent, which I know, John, you don't have kids, but a parent always wants to make sure that the kid
Protect.
doesn't, protect. That's your natural thing, right? But that's not the best thing. And so that's the thing, like, I mean, even last night, I was being hard on Alex. Like, look, no, man, like, I'm tired of coddling. Like, the answer is get up and do it. Like, that's just the way it is. Like, and, you know, the mom is always going to be a little bit more, like, reserved. When it's dad's time, like, no, fuck it, this is how it is. Like, no one cares. And part of my subject that I was going to talk about today, I'll wrap it up quick because we got to move on, but it was, like, about no one, like, when you're delivering on something personal or business, it's to get one step closer to your goal, not one step further away.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, no one shepherds that. It's on you.
Yes.
So when I got up today, like, I fucking went to bed late. I got up early. I didn't want to I had all this stuff to do before I got here. I was running behind. I thought to myself, you know, no one really gives a fuck.
No.
And the only way I'm getting to where I want to go is if I fight through that voice that, you know, probably people think we don't still have, but we do. Everybody has them,
100%.
right? Motherfucker, I didn't want to lunge 20 minutes up the hill at fucking 90 degrees this morning. Like,
No.
I didn't want to do that. But I knew when I got to the top, if I just went one step after the other and kept going through it, when I got to the top, I'd never go, man, I wish I didn't do this.
Let me
Right,
tell you
Mo?
this. The irony that you're having the conversation, I got up this morning, walked out to the car. I can remember I'm by the basketball hoop by my car. I said, I don't feel like doing this shit today.
Didn't want to do it.
And, you know, they followed up. Don't nobody give a fuck.
No.
The irony that you just said
And no one's
that-
going to do it for
listen to me,
you.
The irony that you just said that. I walked to the gym today. I don't feel like doing this shit.
No.
This was the conversation in my head. But the importance, and I know I may be stretching your segment, the importance of it.
Stretching it.
Yeah,
Fuck with you,
the
you're good.
importance of it was literally like just me telling myself, like, I'm happy I've implemented the discipline where the discipline takes over from the fucking self-talk.
It's just it's toughness. It's when you say no one gives a fuck. It's like I think you're absolutely right, and I live with that in every facet of life. It's like it's just always like No one's watching. No one's
watching.
No
one
one's
cares.
watching. No one fucking cares. It's not about anyone else. It's about me. Are you going to fucking go in child's pose and be a bitch, or are you going to do it? That's everything. That's when we get in the office.
I love the yoga reference.
Fucking yoga.
There we go. That's what I do.
No.
I think to wrap
you
it
know?
up, though,
Yeah.
John, what my point is that if we're too soft on the kids, they're not going to be able to fight through that.
No, man.
I think that to me, that's where, like, this morning when I'm not trying to cry about what my situation was, but what I'm saying is, like, that's what I lean on. Hey, motherfucker, you didn't get here by listening to this. That's it.
100%.
Doesn't matter how much money you got, how many people know you, what the fuck's going on. Doesn't matter. No one cares. Fucking lunge your ass up that hill.
Everything can start and stop in a day.
Yes,
So
yes.
everything you've built, everything anyone's built
Doesn't matter.
can stop today if we lose that fuck it, I'm going to take it on mentality. It will stop today. Your resources will dwindle down and opportunities will stop.
Absolutely. Hey, we're still on time, actually. 21, even though we didn't do it as Haven wanted it. But
It's
I think it
all
was good, though.
It's all
right,
good.
we got questions, Q&A time. So Jeremy's going to bring over the questions. We'll see what we got.
What do the listeners got for us, Cory? Come
The
on
listeners. Good segment. That was good,
Yeah, it was
Johnny.
good, for sure,
segment.
for
It
sure.
definitely provoke some thought. All right, so question 1. What advice would you give people who can't seem to find their smile, John, in terms of career business development? I know Fosco went off recently, which was wild.
Which happens
Which happens daily. And basically said, but to get advice from you three sages would be wicked.
Well, I'm not a sage.
I'm not even sure what a sage is.
Don't drink the hemlock if you're
Yeah.
yeah.
Motherfucker, don't drink the hemlock.
Yeah.
All right, Johnny, you want to answer first? This is kind of like
yeah, I mean,
pertains to your-
if he can't find the smile, well, he's not paying attention. You know what I'm saying? So you're smiling about something.
Absolutely.
Everyone's smiling about something. So you can find the smile. You just got to up your awareness, brother. You got to be a little bit more aware of what's going on between your ears.
I think people are smiling at things that they think aren't a job.
Well,
That's what
you're
I think
100%
Because
right.
I was in there lifting weights thinking, man, this is fucking awesome.
Right.
And then no one's saying, gee, you can make $1 million doing
Well,
that.
no one's ever going to say it to
They definitely
anybody.
wasn't saying that.
But you gotta find it. You know, if you're looking at right now, I'm looking at a fucking statue with long hair. If you're looking at that long hair and it makes you fucking smile, maybe you need to go learn how to fucking cut hair and work in a barbershop.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like pay attention to yourself. And if you can't find it, pay more attention to yourself. I don't want to simplify his question, but dude, pay more attention to yourself.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I stole your shit. Now I think I'm about to steal John's shit. Yeah, so.
Motherfucking ripping me off.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead,
mean,
Mo.
but I personally think, and this is just me, I've been dialed into some spiritual information lately. And one of the things from Miles Monroe, and I definitely identify with it, nothing in terms or in regards to finding your smile, everything starts internally and being happy with yourself. And I think like once it starts to radiate inside and just figure out why do you like yourself, figure out, you know, what is it that I like? What is it that I care about? What is it that makes me laugh? What is it that, you know, basically just makes me happy internally outside of anything external, right? So even when you're talking about just reference Cory with weightlifting, right? When you talk about weightlifting, lifting weights and thinking about getting in shape and thinking about meal plans or thinking about different workouts, like internally, those are things that are connected to you inside, right? And so you found a vehicle to put those thoughts or put those habits or put those to action and then to monetize them, right? When I think about myself, I enjoy helping people. I enjoy motivating people. I enjoy seeing people smile. These are things that internally make me happy. And so
And giving back to your neighborhood, Mo. That's what
giving
you
back
always
to-
talked about.
Giving back to my neighborhood and places that have done so much for me. And then from there, you find the business that it connects to. Things with Johnny, I would imagine that everything that you've ever been to in business on some level connects to you personally. It has some personal deal.
Absolutely.
And I think that oftentimes when people seem to say, I can't find it in career or business, it's, okay, does this make money or does that make money? There's a lot of things that do make money and don't make money, but they just may not be authentically connected to you. And that may be the total disconnect. And then that's where it feels like a job or it feels like a laborious task. And literally, I think it comes back to people just understanding themselves, like what is it that I like about myself, and really just finding different vehicles to put this on. And then I think the first part that becomes discouraging, and I had this conversation at Starbucks yesterday, and literally understanding that whatever I like, it won't immediately produce me a paycheck or the returns that I'm looking for immediately. I have to go and get into what it is that I'm trying to develop it, figure it out, develop it some more, figure it out. And over a period of time, if I'm good or if the product or service is needed, then I can make a living from it, but I'll have a fucking shit ton of fun because this is what I enjoy doing. But I think in the life that we live now, we think that just because I get into something, I need to shit off a bunch of money from it. Like it has to just produce all of these results overnight. And that's what I think that we talk about a lot when a person says, how do I get out of the employee space and into the entrepreneur space, career business space? We think like once I put my action here, I'm just supposed to shit off all this money. He may have already started in a space, like when he talks about career or business, that just wasn't producing money, right? But it still made you happy. But, maybe your wife, maybe your girlfriend may have said, hey, motherfucker, that's not producing money. Why don't you shut it down? You're wasting your time. You can go make money. And may he just be like, fuck it. Let me put this away. It's kind of like to the conversations somebody probably had with guys in regards to video games who just start making money from it. You know what I'm saying? And so that's sort of like my 2 cents about it is really, and I guess I'm really speaking about finding things you're passionate about, because that's where you kind of find your smile out. Really figure out to you and write down what makes me happy, what makes me smile, what do I really enjoy. And there's 1,000 businesses or services within this world that you can monetize to ultimately get to that place. And the grit in the ground, or that stuff that you say your kids should have, that fucking persistence, that tenacity, that shit that you build from fucking building up your life, that's the stuff that basically you have to develop to get to where you ultimately want to go. But ultimately, all that stuff starts within yourself.
Love it. I bet you're listening right now and you want to hear your question on Business and Biceps. So I'm going to tell you how that can happen, John.
Boom. There you go, Cory.
Send us all your questions. Hashtag AskBNB on Instagram, Twitter. Tag us. I mean, we could hear your question next week.
And we can also give them our beautiful faces on a T-shirt if they hit us with a really good question.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, question 2.
All right.
I'm going to add on the Find Your Smile thing. Just make sure that you're not just discounting that what you're smiling about can't be your job. That's all I'm saying.
Sure.
That's a huge takeaway for me, because I think a lot of people
And brush your teeth so when you smile, you
can see
you
your
got
pearlies like
whites,
Mo.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, look at those teeth. Look at those teeth.
All right, so question 2. 2 years ago, I reached out about my drug addiction to Hydrocodone for help. You lent me a helping hand and even your phone number. He's talking about Johnny. It's almost crossed 2 years sober, and with all your help. 2 months ago, I relapsed on a bad day, and I've been spiraling ever since. I'm reaching back out for inspiration. I've done it once. I can do it again, but the relapse is worse than ever before. I need out of this hellhole of addiction and freedom once more.
Well, first off, I remember that conversation, and dude, it's like this. You're not alone. Number one, you're not alone. You'll never be alone. I hope you still have my phone number. I'm sure you have a lot of people's phone numbers that can help you, but you did it before. And when you did it, it was hard before, and it's going to be hard again. But I think just speaking from my perspective, it was, and I know we talked about this, but relapse is a part of the process. It's finding why you want to be here. Why do you want to be free of this shit? Why do you want to be free of it? And whatever that why you want to be free of it, go put your time and your energy into that. Couple that with professional help, and just make that a fucking regimen. This is about mental toughness. And I'm telling you, the toughest motherfuckers in the world are the ones who can get fucking over an addiction and find life and find all that life can offer. But you cannot do that until you see what life can offer and you understand the beautiful fucking things you can have if you get this shit out of your fucking system that will kill you if you let it. So, bro, what you need to do is focus on some shit you love and go get some professional help and lean on people. Now is the time. Listen, we always talk about being tough and self-sufficient and all this stuff. Now is the time where you need people. You need love. You need fucking support. So fucking call your mom, call your friends, fucking call me. Call people when the times get tough, because they're gonna, but you will make it out if you're committed. You have resources, you have people who care. Never fucking forget that, man. And that would be what I have to say.
Yeah, me, I can give 1,000 answers on it. One, relapsing is part of recovery. People trying to get clean. You have to imagine. People have had addictions for years. With guys trying to get clean, they start, they stop, they start, they stop, they start, they stop. It's just part of the process. But traditionally, what happens is people who survive recovery, become successful in recovery, and move forward with their lives are people who are working some sort of program. And programs typically sound hard for people because it's a level of accountability. And you're doing nothing more than saying, okay, I want to get in shape. So you say, Cory, meet me in the gym every single day. And when it's time for you to eat, Reese, I need you to meet me until I become comfortable that you know what to do on your own, right? That's what it's like in the physical world. In recovery, it's people constantly having to deal with themselves. And that's what becomes like the hard thing. And then it's also people having to add structure to their day. But it literally is this simple. If you're not sober, nothing else works. You know what I'm saying?
There it is.
And I don't know like how much more simpler than it is, but recovery and you staying clean has to be the main thing. And there's 1,000 ways to help you. And one thing that, and I'm not going to assume the guy knows, you have different medically assisted treatment services. You have or where you can get Suboxone provided to you. You can transition from Suboxone to Vivitrol. And there's other services that are anti-craving medication that will block your opioid receptors, so this is not even a problem. And so what Vivitrol does is Vivitrol basically covers your opioid receptors and basically stop you from craving the medication. You take that along with some therapy and you basically just start to implement different habits in your life from a constructive standpoint, and then you're on your way, and then you can build a life, and then you can start to just basically get back on your feet and go into the right direction. But what happens is, and believe you me, in recovery, we've dealt with and deal with over 500 or 600 people. So I've seen many people in many different situations. But John was right. What it comes down to is it's you saying, I'm better than this shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm better than what I'm presenting. I'm better than what I'm displaying to the public. I'm better than this to my friends, to my family, to my kids, to people who look up to me. When I was birthed out of my mother's vagina, my mother didn't birth a drug addict. You know what I'm saying? Somehow, some way through life, I've picked up habits that have become addictive and physiologically have taken over me, but this is not my life. And you just gaining control and saying, fuck this shit, I'm better than this shit, I'm going to present myself totally different, and you have moments. There's no difference, right? Every day in the gym, you're not fucking maxing out. Some days you go to the gym and you just fucking bomb out, or you don't do as good, right? But with recovery, it's the same thing. Like every day in recovery is not going to be like wow, I'm clean, I just got this.
I'm awesome.
Right.
I'm awesome. No, you know what I'm saying? Like just think about it. You have holidays that go by. You have, like I told you, like part of me just not even watching games. It just I enjoy watching games, getting fucked up, enjoying laughing, joking, talking shit. But I just know in my life where that's at, I just don't have a place for it no more. You know what I'm saying? And so what becomes the hardest thing for guys is guys they can't get out of like, oh, John's my buddy, Cory's my buddy, they invited me over, and what we used to do is drink and get fucked up. And until you can draw those hard lines and say, hey, when I come over, even though you all do it, I'm not doing it. If you can't do that, you just have to separate yourself from people and then get around people who are sober, and sobriety is a real thing. And I think changing the people that you're around, because that's a hard conversation to like, hey, when I come around, I'm not fucking around. You know what I'm saying? Like guys don't want to say that because that just like, that's accountability. Hey, Cory, from around you, I ain't fucking around. And so as soon as I say that out of my mouth, now you hold me accountable towards what I said I'm not doing.
Hey, I can't drink if I'm going to come over and kick it.
But
I'd rather motherfuckers say that all day.
A lot of guys can't, because it establishes accountability, and they don't really want.
Because then I'm not going to let you drink. Because I know you shouldn't be drinking,
they
Mo.
don't- but they don't want to say that.
I know.
Go ahead,
But
my
one
fault.
step further, I would say, alcohol, I can't relate to that. I know that's more up your alley. But when you're talking about these narcotics, I had to cut off friends. I had to be like, hey, man, I love you, but when we get together, it's just I can't survive this.
Unhealthy relationship.
So I got to peace out. You know what I'm saying? So I just can't be in that environment, period. And that was part of my recovery process, is just cutting the cord, because I had to protect myself.
I give you two things, right? So first,
That's changing your environment.
Absolutely.
And that goes with anything. But go ahead, Mo.
Here go two things. One, first of all, mental health medication and alcohol don't mix. That's a big thing, right? So, but then also, I figured out two things for myself. First of all, mental health medication and alcohol have no fucking. It's a crash course. You just can't do both of them, right? That's one thing. And I've told everybody on here, I take mental health medication. The second part of that is that I never had a problem drinking, right? When I was happy, I wanted to have a good time. We can drink. We're happy. We're having a good time. The fact that I opened the door for it, and when I was pissed off, right? So if I'm happy, if I'm cool, if we watching the game, it's cool. But just through life, I get pissed off about a lot of shit. But once you open a door and say, this is a problem solver, this is how I feel better, that's when it becomes abusive.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because then it becomes
Because you're running to it.
because you run into it. But
It's a
so
crutch.
the thing is, if I never open the door to it, so it took me a long
don't
time to
attain.
even get there. So I'm like, oh, and there's a lot of people thinking like, okay, I don't have a problem when I do it, but the fact that you open a door, you understand that this makes you feel better. When you're depressed, this is what you go to. When you're pissed off, this is what you go to. When you're mad at your girlfriend, when you're mad at something, this is what you go to. So it's a protection for me.
Is it fair to say, Mo, you just recognized that you couldn't exercise the self-discipline when you opened the door?
100%.
Like you don't have the
So
ability to.
this is where it came from. So high school and even college, I never drunk, right? So no, high school and before I really start blowing up in football, I never drunk. So when I would go out, I would start drinking. So when I was done or when they kicked me out of school, I associated going out, partying, having sex with like substituting that I wasn't playing football. So this makes me feel better,
I
right?
gotcha.
So now I didn't realize like a tolerance and addiction was created through me just going out and doing this. And so I was having fun, but I was getting fucked up and it just wasn't good for my normal life, right?
Yeah.
So then now every time I get mad, what do? I want to go party. I want to get away from it. And I didn't realize or identify I was running away from shit. And so now it's like, yo,
Yeah.
like even though you do have like, even though you may have 7 months of no problems, when problems do come up and you
can't.
are pissed off and you are mad, you start abusing the shit. And then I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't give a fuck nobody. You cannot make responsible decisions up under the influence of anything. I don't give a fuck who you are.
The cloudy mind never works.
Brother, listen to me. I don't give a fuck who you are. You can say, oh, I do this better. Things slow down. I'm happier.
That's a
You
bunch
are
of
not.
bullshit.
That's a bunch of bullshit.
Right.
You are
You're
not,
not
having
clear.
a sound fucking mind
Right.
when you're
Right.
up under the influence. You just do shit that you shouldn't be doing. You make decisions that you shouldn't be making, or you put yourself in a situation. Think about this. 80% statistical proof of people who are in prison or up under some influence of a drug or alcohol who are
committed
in prison who committed a crime.
Yeah, it fucks up your decision making.
Yeah,
Straight
bro.
up.
This may not be for that guy. Now, when I'm speaking for the larger audience because it's a lot of people where it just doesn't belong in their life. And I'm just saying, like, yo, if that's your thing, if you can identify with what I'm talking about, it just may be best for you to say, hey, this is not my thing. But then it's growing up is like, okay, that's a phase in my life, and I got to grow up.
I just know people through my friends and acquaintances. There's like 3-4 people I know in my life that just should never drink. That's
Yeah,
Mo,
me-
you're
me
one of them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You're one of the 3 guys I know that nothing has ever been associated well as
With
I've known
drinking,
Maurice and
100%.
drinking. And I have 2 other friends that and I tell them the same shit I just said to Mo.
Right.
I've never seen something maybe short time, but long term it never works out.
Yeah, you don't mind go. Listen to me. So I got an aggressive nature. Like I'm like. the
You ever
most-
see yourself?
I'm listening to me. So
You
this is
big
serious,
ass
right?
mother- Yeah.
I'm easy. I'm peaceful, but my mind is aggressive all
Right.
day. I'm talking about top of the morning, going through the
The
day.
booze will bring it right out.
You feel where I'm coming from?
Fuck yeah. Of
It just I don't know if that just may be inherent. I don't know if I just have anger issues. I don't know, whatever it is, but just I'm always like in an aggressive state.
But that's to my point. If you're one of these people, you
Yes,
should know to stay away from
And
it.
you have discipline, and that's the
When you
wall,
sober-
and
when
the
sober.
booze brings the wall down.
Listen to me. When sober, discipline.
Right.
When not sober,
The wall's down.
and you just don't see boundaries. And to protect yourself from either going to a fucking grave early, to protect yourself from going to prison for life, or just to do some stupid shit. It's just situations you shouldn't be in. And it took me a long time to even get there, because you don't want to accept, like, I gotta let this part of my life go, because
Just do.
Why can't I be normal? Why can't I have a fucking beer like that dude having a barbecue? Why can't
And you
I?
fight for
Because
it.
I'm a
Yeah.
fucking lunatic. But that's cool.
listen to me. Listen to me. And
It's
you
just the truth
and you
sometimes,
fight
though.
for. You know, a lot of people in recovery fight for it. Like,
Right.
yo, dude,
I
like,
can have a beer. And then they wake up on the ground naked.
Nah,
You know
no,
what I'm saying?
can't.
Don't wake up on the ground naked.
Yeah.
Johnny, anything else you want to shout out to that guy real quick? Then we'll wrap it.
I'm here for you, man. I hope you have my number saved. Hit me up.
Call Johnny.
Yep.
You should do it as soon as you hear this. All right. Last block, guys. I think that we got a lot of good topics in this, but one of the ones I want to start off with, Johnny,
Yeah.
is you said something before we got on air
Mm.
about, I look at all three of us. We all know each other pretty well, and I never really have seen either you guys that nervous, or I never heard you really talk about that. And I guess that comes to how prepared we are for business, life, whatever it is. But I think it would be interesting to share, like, what you meant by that, and maybe some past experiences of you either being nervous, not nervous, and just kind of start the conversation.
Yeah, so it came from as I was driving here, always thinking about ideas and stuff to talk about, to share with the listener. And I was like, man, like, I was thinking back on that phone call we had yesterday, and when I was saying some funny stuff with you and Jeremy. And I was like, man, I don't get nervous, like, ever. Like, I just don't get nervous. And I'm like, and then I start cross-referencing that thought in my brain with other
That's how it looks like in
successful-
your head too, don't it?
What's up?
You're literally it cross references.
Yeah,
I hear
I
you
like
working it.
cross-reference things in my
It's like,
brain. Yeah, and I'm like, okay, so is that part of the reason why I've been able to have some success? And I'm like, I think not giving a fuck in a, if this makes any sense, in a disciplined way, and fully accepting who you are in a disciplined way, if that's like a trait of the successful. You know what I'm saying? And then I started to think, like, okay, I'm going to go talk to Cory. I'm going to go talk to Mo. I don't see them really get nervous either. And it just opened my mind to this kind of exploring this thought.
I think it's the fact, John, this is just from me, that I'm okay if it doesn't work. I think that's the thing. Like, I know I'm gonna be okay regardless. That's the same way I look about when I go up to a big weight at a meet. I'm like, well, I'm giving it everything I got. I ain't gonna fucking die. Well, hopefully not.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's like, if this thing doesn't work out, or if I speak in front of a crowd and I suck, I'm okay tomorrow. I think that
Right.
some people are so fucking scared of the flip side.
No,
I just don't care.
that's
Because I know I've
So-
dealt with so much shit.
so-
I'm gonna be all right.
right. So if
That's part of it for me.
if I think of the birth of the thought, right? The phone call from yesterday, I'm working on training Jeremy in sales, and Jeremy gets nervous, as everyone does who's coming up in sales. That's a huge part of kind of getting over the hump. And I was on a call, and I just was almost the opposite of nervous. I was fucking with the dude. I was sparring with him.
Yes,
and
you were.
And he didn't know, but he loved it. He was having a good old time, and he was happy, and he thought he was my friend. And I'm like, man, like, that dude is way more prone to do business with us because he thinks I'm a fun guy. And actually, I was just fucking off, right?
It makes people on the other side ultra nervous when they feel you that way too. I think, like, in a weird way, it throws off.
Well, it
the
establishes a dynamic
Yeah.
that I don't, almost like what you said, I don't need you. We're equals, or maybe I'm even above you. I'm not saying I'm above you literally, but it establishes that dynamic when someone's nervous. Okay, automatically, whether they're facing a weight or a human being, that other human being is above them when they're nervous, just by human nature, right? Like, I'm looking down at you, motherfucker, because you're fucking nervous, you're stumbling over your words.
I think it comes down to like the big time poker dudes. They say scared money don't win no poker. Like, I think that's the truth. Like in any situation, like I remember, if I think back to my first like Arnold situation, I remember like vividly guys like knocking glasses over, breaking them in the morning at breakfast. Like there was a lot of nervous shit going on, and I just remember almost got pulled into it, even though I didn't feel that way because the room felt that way, right before we got there. And I was thinking like, man, this motherfucker's just a weightlifter. Like I'm gonna go treat him like a weightlifter. And I think, and I literally like brought it down to that. And I think that people manufacture this situation so high in their brain, and that throws it all out of whack. Like to me, it's just like
it's fear.
It's exactly.
It's
you
fear.
Create it yourself.
Yeah, and like if I take it back to like why I really think, we bring this up, but I really think as a man at least, when you don't fear what most people fear, like me, I grew up like always being like,
off,
of course,
right? It makes people on the other side.
I'll fight this dude. He's afraid to fight me. I got in so many fights because I wasn't afraid to catch a shot, right? And that molded my mind of like, I don't fucking care who you are. Like, you're a man. You're not gonna hurt me. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where it started. So why should any other man intimidate me? You're not going to intimidate me. And I think that was the root of it. But I think just if you look at potential traits of the successful, that's what I was posing as a question. I don't know, Mo. What's your take?
Yeah, I mean, as you all are talking, I think that a lot of my just fearlessness comes from, I guess the easiest way is not giving a fuck. But not giving a fuck is so freeing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And you're free of expectations. You're free of opinions. If things are perceived not going your way, you're free of like, okay, the situation didn't work out. You're free of even caring that, okay, I tried to make the sale, I didn't make the sale. Next, you know what I'm saying? Almost put you on autopilot. And for a large part of my life, even now, like I think that's why I have success, because I don't want to go broke, but I just like I don't give a fuck about going broke.
Right.
Like even building business, it doesn't bother me to put money on the line. Win, lose, or draw, I'm always down to say, hey, I go cut grass and do what I got to do to get it back together if that happens. And so I think a large part of my life is living, not just giving a fuck. And even from you say guys not being afraid to take a shot. I think when I started to make football and started to play for so many years, not being able to be afraid of running into somebody and get a headache, or not being afraid to go heads up and get knocked on my ass, not being afraid just frees you. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the most freeing feeling. Totally. But there's a confidence that you get out after you do it for a while. So like even for the listener, it may seem hard the first time, but the more you just enter situations where you're not giving a fuck, you just gain a confidence to be like, man, this is a whole lot more freeing. But what it ultimately comes down, I spoke about it earlier in the podcast, it really just comes down to yourself, because you're just working on yourself. Right. And I think like that people get nervous when they begin to just think about so many external things. And so a quick confidence builder for anybody is just to constantly work on yourself. Like working on yourself, getting to know yourself, putting yourself in situations where I'm developing myself, and I'm consciously put myself in a situation. You know what? I'm scared of motherfucking John. So you know what? I'm going to go with the idea that if I allow it, I deserve it. So I'm going to stand up to you today. And so I'm building my courage. Like, like on video games, they got those little tallies where you got courage and perseverance and power and stamina and all that shit. Yeah. As human beings, you gain 100%. Points by doing things that you're intimidated by, but you build your banks up. You know what I'm saying? And just like anything else, these banks don't stay like high because you go through life and life beats you up, and just like on a video game, it knocks these things down. But through repetition, you build these things up, and then you just create like this little energy system or this little discipline to be like, this is how I operate and this is how I roll, because this is what gets results. And that's just my personal feeling on it. And I definitely believe it's a trait from successful people. in the world that we live in when we're defining success from a business monetary standpoint.
Right.
You know, and I definitely believe it. And but I did identify some parts that I got nervous on. And it was two, and Haven was here with one of them. But the first one, or one of them, I went to what is it called? I went to go speak to a group of people. And this is one of my first time speaking. And and one thing that also births confidence or not being scared is being prepared. You know,
Yes.
I think one thing is the one thing we're talking about is not giving a fuck, but then having a high level of preparedness. So before I was getting ready to speak, I wanted to speak, but just the thoughts that I had or what I wanted to speak about wasn't organized.
Right.
And so that was just like, okay, I wasn't like scared of the speaking and getting on the stage. I was unprepared, and so that basically showed, right? And so I was doing that, but it was literally the same situation when I was doing radio with Haven and not being prepared or to how I'm going to roll something out. And so it doesn't mean I was scared. It was mean I was unprepared, but it serviced and showed as me being scared. And so that's just something, a teachable moment from people. Like, you know, you may not be scared. You just may be a lazy motherfucker who didn't prepare for what you're trying to get into. So, like, when you reference to Jeremy or you reference to any of these guys doing anything, they may need to just sit by you, get some reps in,
Right.
get some reps, get some
Reps.
practice. And as you get some reps and practice and confidence builds up, okay, now you enter and okay, there you go, enter the dragon, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just
And
want to
get
see
busy.
the sword be sharp, though. That's the key. You got. That's the way I look at it. Like every day, the daily habits, the things that I'm reading, the things that I'm doing. It's just me sharpening the sword.
100%.
And so then when it's time, it's like pow. It's straight through.
But
That's it.
But I'm telling you, sharpening your daily skills and just always working on them. I was in two meetings yesterday in probably two high level organizations through the city, and these motherfuckers represent billionaires through the city. And just from constantly being on my shit, man, I walk to these meetings I walk to these meetings with no notepad.
Exactly.
And I'm dead fucking serious. I've gotten to the point with the meetings, I don't even care what I wear anymore because I know my shit.
I kind of like that.
You know what I'm saying? Like
John loves that.
yeah, so I've gotten to that point now. I'm being
Yeah.
serious, man. I'm being
I
like
believe you.
dead fucking
Because your knowledge is what's speaking.
trumps.
It's not Maurice in a suit and shine shoes. Oh, look. No, I don't need to look the part, motherfucker. I'm going to blow you away with what I fucking know,
Man.
and there ain't no one in this room that can bring what I can bring,
Dude.
and you will respect me.
I'm telling you 100%. That's an indicator when you're
Kinda
starting to
love
do
that.
business, and you stop really caring like what I need to present myself. Like not being disrespectful.
Sure.
I'm gonna be respectfully dressed, but dude, I know my shit. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I deliver. I know what I bring to the
Right.
table.
Right.
It don't really matter how I look. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Hey, we saw
That's
that
some
from the
1950s shit,
Zappos
dude.
guy. That's Nick
Yeah,
Swinmurne.
y-
Swinmurne. He said the same thing. He's like, look,
Yeah,
I'm
dude,
wearing a
it's
hoodie
like-
and jeans, and that's the way it is.
People who get all dressed up, it's the show, right? It's the show. I look like a business. Like, if you're a businessman, I'm not saying you can't wear a suit and tie because some people
a couple times a year.
do that, or some people work in Fortune 500 companies.
The
and-
environment calls for it.
yeah, exactly. But if you do it to appear like it, you're a fucking fake ass motherfucker, and you got to ask yourself, why am I not it? Right? I got to put it on because I'm not it. Stop putting it on and learn it so
Be
you don't have to
it.
dress like it.
Be it.
Right.
Be it.
Don't tweet about it. Be about it, motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, listen to me. I mean, John just hit it. I mean, listen to me, and I don't put it on. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Know your shit. Get your practice in. Work on your reps. Work on your discipline. Become sharp with your words. Become accurate in your thinking. Work on your mind, body, spirit.
I want to give you an example. So you talked about being nervous, when you and Haven did radio preparedness, right?
Yep.
So let's think about how we prepare for this show. Sure, we're bringing structure in, but the three of us know we freestyle. Why does it work and why does it flow? Because the three of us live in a state
Yes.
of mental preparedness.
100%,
We
yeah.
live it. We don't need to practice and structure it. We live it. That's why we can go in any direction at any fucking time because no one's no, dude, I fucking know it.
That's why we're homies.
Period.
Yeah, and I think that's where a large level of comfort with talking about this content, talking about business, and I think even just this might be my therapy session too. I think of just a lot of shit that I go through that I can't talk about at work. Hey, so if you ever want to know what goes on in their job, just kind of like listen to all these fucking podcasts.
Well, but in
Listen to my
reality, if you
perspective.
think about like, because I've kind of talked about not really being that good at school. I always was terrible at my presentations because I was never prepared because I didn't care. Like in a bad way, you know what I'm saying? So like when I got into the world of caring, what I was
Right.
doing, I got way more prepared, and then I looked smooth up there because people knew I was on my stuff. And so I would already probably like you might have had from an athlete standpoint, Mo. I would have the weightlifter thing. Like I'd be in these meetings, think, oh, this dude just tweeting and lifting weights, and then I was, taking over $20 million accounts and doing this, and this. And when I would talk and be about my business, people would be almost like taken aback. So I always know going in, I had to be extra prepared because I already had to take down the wall of the muscle guy. But just because I got abs don't mean I don't know how to do shit.
So I'll dig into that subject right there because like there may be a lot of people who can even identify with this stuff. So I thought based upon the measuring system that society put in place with college educations and so much other shit that I was dumb in certain areas. And I wasn't dumb in certain areas. I just wasn't interested in the shit that they were trying to teach.
Ding, ding, ding,
That was the
ding.
biggest thing, right? And so when you take people who are interested in athletics, I break it all the way down to how people learn, right? From the time I played football, I was born in '83 and I started playing football in 1988. And from '88 to fucking since I don't know, I stopped playing football at 28, 9, whatever it was. Those last 3 years in Omaha. Every year around the clock, from basketball to football to track, I've always been coached, right? So the way I was learning and applying myself was all through audio. Somebody would say something to me, I would go apply it, either it worked or it didn't. I would come back to that coach and I would learn, right? And so I started to figure out as I got older is that I wasn't dumb when it came to books, right? And just think about it now. It's the reason I love audiobooks. What do audiobooks do? It's somebody speaking to you, somebody coaching to you. It's easier to receive. It's easier to apply. I was like, oh, shit, this is why I like audiobooks because it feels like a coach talking to me and I can go apply actually what I hear. And so as I got older, I said, well, I'm not dumb. They just got one fucking way of measuring if you're good or not. Did you complete college or not? If you didn't complete college, society thinks you're dumb. If you did, great for you. You know what I'm saying? But how many more motherfuckers in the world?
I can't pass the test, Mo.
But there's a lot of different talents within this world
exactly.
and a lot of different smart people in different ways in different pockets of society that just aren't measured. And if there was a way to monetize these different ways from a structural institutional standpoint, you would have all type of degrees and certificates in all these other categories. But since there's not, it's no different than the medical marijuana industry. We've learned how to monetize it from a government standpoint.
I think you're speaking to a broader issue in that it's that these certificates and that these pieces of paper people get for completing classes in a way that an institution said they need to, they're becoming obsolete. They're becoming obsolete, and what you just spoke about is becoming premium because you can go and take an audio book or listen to 100 of them and you could go start the fucking red zone
100%.
and you could go stack paper, right? Someone can spend 4 years, go $200K in debt, and they can come out holding their dick. You know what I'm saying?
I can guarantee you right now I can take anybody here with no education, no formal degree. I can take them and I say, okay, give me 50 grand. I can show you how to start this motherfucker, make money, and do it from top to bottom. And I would just do it in a second. You need no degree to do this.
Exactly.
And somewhere in society, it was taught that is devalued because you don't have a certificate for something. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's all the colleges that have all the power and all the money. And
it's a business.
It's a motherfucking business.
Yeah. But I'm saying it to encourage the guy who didn't complete college. I'm saying it to encourage the guy who. So just like Cory, a person can say, okay, Maurice isn't dumb, but you couldn't put me in any college course and I wouldn't flourish. It would be a great. No, I say I wouldn't. I would not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I would not. Let me say. Okay, just to be clear. No, I would not flourish.
I think you would if you wanted to.
If I wanted to, right? Here we go. If
it is in the one class you were interested in.
If it's okay, so if I wanted to and I focused and the incentive was there for the class, I could force myself to do it, right? But for me and how I want to live my life, there's no interest in sitting down, doing normal collegiate work, even though I believe it's beneficial for other people. My personality and how I want to live my life just does not attract me to college.
Sure.
Yeah, I thought it did, and even I thought it did, but that was influenced more so by society.
You even tried it.
I even tried it, but it was always finish school. And I said, like, what the fuck I want to finish school for? I'm not even interested in it. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like,
I remember thinking that. Why is Mo going back to school?
Here, dude, here's the biggest problem. School is fucking slow moving from fucking admin to teachers to students to tests to finals. It's slow move. The real world, it moves so fucking fast your eyes will cross every fucking day. That's the shock I see when people get out of school. It's a shocker. Like, whoa, I don't get fucking 3 weeks, a study session, and you don't give me the fucking answers before you expect me to do something? I mean, it's such a shock to people, and I think we're talking about something that's obsolete, and you're not dumb.
No.
You're not fucking dumb.
No.
You just don't want to do that shit like I don't want to do that shit.
No.
But if I wanted to, and if you wanted to, or we'd fucking ace that shit. So it's obsolete.
Well,
I'm sorry.
so I got added to the board at Columbus State for all like the heads of the program on the exercise side of things, and got to sit in on my first board meeting right before I did that little award they gave me. And so I'm sitting there talking to some really smart people, some people that know what's up, some people that don't. I talked almost the entire meeting because I was like, look, you guys are about to get left behind if you don't. Like, Columbus State should have the agility to mix and move to do what Ohio State can't do, or to do what these big universities, because that's what can make them different.
Niche universities.
Absolutely. And so what I was challenging them is like, let's take the table and fucking pop this thing over top and let's be
Cory,
different.
that makes them have to work and think, and they just want to get their salary check, bro.
And I was telling them, like, look, I'm not scared. Like, you guys put me here to, like, speak up. Let's try to make some moves here. Like, you're not getting to the right person at Ohio State that can accept the credits. Motherfucker, let's get to a different person. If you don't think that this program, like, why are we still calling something sport and leisure study? Motherfucker, I'm not hiring somebody that has leisure in their fucking title.
No.
I'm not. That's fucking lazy. Like, who's getting that degree right now?
Well,
and what do you do with it? Motherfucker, you ain't doing. So these are the things I'm bringing up, and they're looking at me like, and I said, all these little other universities that are snobbing about because you're 1 year or 2 year, half these fucking guys can't hold my dick for what I did in business. And I came from this
But
1 year
Cory, you're
shit.
fucking up their program.
I'm fucking the program
You're fucking
all
up
up,
the
boy.
program,
Hey, Mo,
dude.
I'm fucking the program up.
Let me give two teachable moments, two teachable things out of here. And this is for kids graduating. For kids graduating, if you're moving into so everybody graduates with this ambition. I want to go and do every fucking thing I want to accomplish, right? But I've seen this big group of people who graduate that just are lazy as shit. Super lazy, right? And what I'm saying is that if you move into government, right, if you graduate, you move into some government system, schooling system, government system, please believe me, you will be on the hamster wheel treadmill on the slow progression, kiss my ass to the top, got to show up to all the meetings program. You'll be on that program. Or if you're going to work with,
it's not the backdoor barbecue program,
no,
but it's a
the
different
backdoor
program.
barbecue
No.
program.
Yeah.
Straight up. Listen to me. But if you go and you work for an entrepreneur, if you go work for that company, please believe me, the physical work you will have to put in far exceeds that government job. But the upside and the opportunity for something like that is a lot greater. But the amount of effort needed to build the entrepreneurial endeavor with your skill set, the basic energy is far fucking greater. And that's just one thing that I've seen. Go to something government ran where the government funds it, you will be on the treadmill, you'll be on the misery campaign.
Right. They're surrounded by rules. They're surrounded by brick. Oh, we can't do that because of this. We can't. If you come into this space while we're working, there is no I can't. It's bring the idea, and if we can't, there's going to be a reason. There's not this fucking structure.
But to walk in with the understanding and the expectation that I have to work my ass off, right? So
Yeah.
To be able to identify and distinguish what I'm walking into after college is a big thing. So a lot of these kids, they grind their ass off in college, and this is just my personal experience from observation, right? This is both societal, speaking at other universities, seeing kids going to get jobs on the whole nine. they think that after the grind, like, okay, I'm going to just hand the certificate to somebody, I'm going to just float.
Ha.
And I'm like, nah, that's not really how it works. You actually like.
That's when the work begins.
Yes, because so I'm on the other end, and everybody got your credentials. Like literally, if you put a post on Indeed, so we put a job opening up. Like all of y'all, believe it or not, all of you all who are applying for this position, y'all all have been trained by the same people to put the same shit on your resumes. Same shit, same wording, same manipulation of words, the same thing, right? So to an employer, when you look at this shit, you like literally all this shit is the same. It's really a fucking coin toss. And then
Yeah.
to minimize it, you're just asking, okay, who do we have the time to interview, right? So then you have
Who can just make the appointment?
who can
It's
make
all the same.
Yeah, it's all the same. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
then you you're nothing special. The special thing that separates you, one, is your attitude, but then two, having a wherewithal. Like, okay, if this is a private company and this was started by an individual, just to break it down for me even more, if this was started by an individual and my skill set has to be here, I know more of me is required, right?
Yeah, man, it's a willingness to learn,
Yes.
right? Like in this global economy, I think the global economy is what fucked college, is what made college worthless, because there is no barrier to entry to a lot of businesses now because we
No.
live in a global economy,
No.
right? But when you walk into a place and you're willing to learn and you don't say, well, I'm good at this, so I should be. No, you have to know you haven't done shit yet. So until you do shit, be willing to learn.
Yes.
Okay, because what you did in the classroom, what your fucking teacher told you, that's not how it works here. Want to know why? Want to know why it's not how it works here? Because we make the fucking rules. So do you want to be here,
Pretty much.
or do you not want to be here? Because if you do, we can fucking teach you, and we can make a lot of fucking money. But don't tell me what you fucking know. I'll tell you what you know, and we'll find out if you really know it.
Pretty. As Johnny Fosco would say.
Oh, mic drop it on that motherfucker right there. John,
He was on his way too.
I'm telling you, you need some free bacon after that fucking segment.
Fucking A, but give it to me, dude.
If you go to butcherbox.com,
The chickens are running.
you
They
will
ain't
not
chained
ha-
up. They
You
ain't
want-
chained
I wish I took a picture. There's 50 chickens chained to drums out in the
Oh, man.
country, and they probably selling that shit to Kroger.
Yeah.
So if you don't want your chicken chained to a barrel,
There you go.
you go to butcherbox.com.
All right.
Old school butcher mentality, 100% grass-fed and finished beef with free-range organic chickens that are not chained to barrels, with heritage breed pork. That's old world pork, John.
There we go. Cory, what's the business? Tell these people the business model of Butcher Box and how they can benefit from the business, because I know we spoke with the founder, brilliant guy.
Very smart. And
Okay.
he saw a need because he was looking for this exact same thing.
Absolutely.
Not in all markets you can get quality poultry, beef,
Right.
chicken. And
Food
it's just-
deserts.
Yeah, yeah, he did say food desert, didn't
Food
he?
deserts.
There's food deserts
They
everywhere.
exist.
And for like $6 a meal, you can set up on one of his
There you go.
programs. It can get right to your door. We're going to give you $10 off, plus free bacon is going to be added to every box if you use biceps as your code at butcherbox.com.
Man, I love it.
Yeah? Shit. That was good, guys.
Yeah, it was good.
There's some thought-provoking shit.
Mo's playing Fruit Ninja on his phone.
I know. Yeah. Can the podcast be stopped?
podcast
Can be stopped!
I gotta get Fruit Ninja sounds.
I gotta get Angry
I'm
Birds.
pretty good at Fruit Ninja.